I'm McKinley Corbley, and you're listening to the ProPTN podcast, an interview talk show for piano technicians to tune in to what the pros are talking about from across the industry. If you enjoyed today's episode, show us some love by following us on your podcasting platform and leaving us a review. To learn more about us here at the Professional Piano Technicians Network, visit us at proptn.org. Hello and welcome to another installment of the ProPTN podcast. This particular episode is quite a treat because today we will be joined all the way from Gruppenfoss by Jahn CEO Andreas Harke. Andreas, who took over the company in his father's stead, also served on the planning committee of the Europiano Convention in Nuremberg this year and the Fair World Acoustica. Andreas, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very honored to be with you at this interview, and I'm very excited about your questions and happy to answer everything.
Thank you so much. Well, we're happy to have you. Now, to start us off, can you tell us about your family history, how you got started in the business, and where it has taken you over the years?
So our family is located in the western part of Germany, and we are now in the fourth generation of piano technicians.
Wow.
So it started with the uncle of my grandfather, then my grandfather, and then my father and his younger brother became a piano technician. And now my two cousins and me are also piano technicians.
So family business, all right.
Yeah, is that part of the family business? Yeah. So how I came to Jahn, how comes this connection? I grew up in the shelves of Jahn. So my father joined the company in the 60s. He wanted to make a voluntary for the commercial part and then go back to his hometown for helping his father. But it came different. He and Jahn, they fitted very good together. So he stayed here and his brother took over the piano business. And now I was born in Jahn with the piano part.
Can you tell me what the relationship between your father and Jahn looked like? What is it like watching them interact?
Oh, I didn't get to know Mr. Jahn because he passed away very early. I think it was a very fruitful connection, as Jahn was an old warhorse in the piano industry.
Right.
And he was a real salesman in this field and had very good connections to every manufacturer, everything. And my father came from the other side. He came from the technical, from the working side, from the piano technician side, and they fitted very good together.
Yeah.
Maybe I tell you how the history of Jahn itself had been.
Yeah.
This takes a little bit longer because it's a little excursion in the German history. So
take us there.
Jahn, he founded the company here in this place, 1948. So at that time he was in his latest 50s, so he was a pretty old man. So as I mentioned, he was very deep in the piano industry. He came from Eisenberg, Thüringen. It's here in the north. And that was one of the birthplace of the piano industry itself. So when the Industrial Revolution took place in the 19th century, we had in Germany different centers for piano production in the modern way, like you know this from Henry Ford, how they produced cars. This was in Europe going on with pianos. So Eisenberg was a very big capital for this, and there he was born. And then in his 20s, he went to Leipzig. It's a town in the north there, and came to Zacharias. That was, before World War II, one of the biggest wholesale companies. There he was a prokurist. After World War II, everything in Europe was destroyed, the whole industry, everything. So as Leipzig, Eisenberg, this all is in the east part of Germany. It came under the communist, under Russian regulation. So everybody during that time who was without family, unindependent, they tried to go over the border. It was still open, the border at the time.
Right.
And therefore he established his own company 1948 with the first German mark. He established his company and built up again the piano industry. So he was very important in that time for getting the industry running again.
Wow.
And he also kept his old ties to the East. So he was a very good friend of Mr. Förster, who was in East Germany, to the Petrov family in Czechoslovakia. So there are still very good connections to each other, and he was the root of it all.
Wow.
And you must picture, in that time, everything in Europe was destroyed. So the people were desiring for joy again, to make music, to play piano, and the piano industry grow up again.
I see. So how long have you been in charge of the company?
Nearly 30 years now.
What have been some of the most valuable lessons that you've learned during your time at Jahn, either in business, design, or piano technology?
I think it's how close the piano world is together, that we are all a big community. So in my beginning, it seems that there were three big players. It was the industry, the manufacturers, then it was the trading companies, and then the piano technician itself and the rebuilders. So these three, they looked suspicious at each other, and so they knew they are somehow connected with each other, but they didn't want to bother each other, to have interaction. So and this is getting better and better in the years that we all realize that we need each other. So the industry in the 70s, there was a lot of catch-up. They produced in quantity and not in quality. But then they changed as they get the contribution from Asia. They changed more to quality, big, nice furnitures. Also, the scale redesign came. And now it's interesting. It's from the US. They are inspired with the action geometry, with action weighting and such things. They more and more take the focus on this.
Now, I was curious, so you yourself are a piano technician as well, or have you been trained as such?
Yes.
So then what did your technician experience look like before you took over the company?
In my wild years, I didn't want to become a piano technician or want to have anything with the company. So,
right.
But then I worked in the workshop of my grandfather, and I loved the technique on the piano. I liked the rebuilding and stuff like that. But I like more all the talking with the piano technicians about their demands, about their needs, and so on. And so after my apprenticeship, I was at Zeiler in Kitzingen. I went abroad for different spots just to improve my knowledge and also to get to know more piano technicians in the world. So I went for tuning and for servicing for a time. And in between that, I went to Jahn for volunteering at my father's company. So I know that Jahn is more a playground for me for helping and supporting piano technicians than being a piano technician by myself. So I have to be honest, I was not the best tuner in the world.
Well, thank you for being honest. And we need advocates just as much as we need technicians. So I'm glad you had that foresight. So I hear that you have recently done some remodeling of the Jahn office and warehouse space in order to teach workshops and classes. Can you tell us about how you have used the space thus far and how you might be excited to use it in the future?
So my father and his companion, they bought it in the 70s. And I think it was available and the price was good. And for that time, it was sufficient for them. It was enough. And when I came in the company, I saw this is not quite your dream of doing a supply business. But I said, the piano industry is sustainable. And why shouldn't also this building be? And we grow with the building. So, and I started to renovate here and there a little bit. Then 10 years ago, we had a new building beside this building, very small, but where we have all the office rooms and the top, and down we have a more storage place. And now I'm at my final step of remodeling this building. Now we have those seminars because we started 5 years ago with offering seminars, and it's pretty good. And I want to increase this to have a meeting point for piano technicians. We have from the Netherlands, we have PTG, like the precision touch design guys frequently here. And I have to introduce Joachim Leonardi. He is with Jahn Company since 25 years now. He's a piano technician, and he's really a piano technician, not like me. He's really a master. So we used to call him the Swiss Army knife. You know that expression?
Yes, yes.
He can talk out of the box about every subject in the piano. So he's really amazing. And so with him, we have a seminar series already. Yeah, and my aim is to get piano technicians from all over the world. We had seminars already from a group of Russia frequently, but the world sometimes turns not the way we wished it to turn. So that's a sad story that we can't meet them at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, but the aim for here is having a good place for exchanging knowledge and things like that.
Absolutely. And piano technicians will always be piano technicians. People aren't their government.
Yes.
I feel like that's the attitude we should maintain.
Yeah, music is united the people. So.
Yes, music is universal. Absolutely. So I would love to talk to you about Europiano. How was the convention this year? What kind of participation did you see from the guests?
It was, kind of a dream come true. So it was really fantastic. So I think this year it was different from the years before, that we had the combination of the Congress and the trade show. So the 2-3 components they used to fight a little against each other, we had them all together. And this was very fruitful, and this was also new. We had people from all over the world. From Pakistan, a piano technician. We had from America some. We had Japanese, Korean. Yeah, it was fantastic.
I'm so glad to hear about that. Can you tell us about any highlights or particularly memorable interactions that you witnessed or participated in?
The highlight was to see all the happy faces of the piano technicians.
Yeah.
So they were running around and going to this seminar to see this. So there were only a few who mentioned it was a little bit overloaded, but I think sometimes you need also overload.
Yeah, and I feel like piano technicians are naturally introverted, and so sometimes more than 30 people is an overloaded room.
Yes. Yeah, and one big thing was the room where we had 13 concert grants. It was really a challenge to manage it, because it was an idea, but how to do the details, how to plan it, it was not quite sure. So then we decided to give open time slots for the people that they can register for 15 minutes to play. And this worked very good, because private people, piano technicians, everybody, somebody from the industry can try the different grant models to compare and play. So it was really great when we set up the fair. So the day before, Mr. Fazioli went through it, Italian guy.
Paolo.
And played all the grants, and then some dealer said, "Oh, please try this one," and they go to the other grant and played that other grant. It was really a shivering moments we had there.
Wow. Oh, that sounds so special. Did you get to play all of the concert grants as well?
As I told, it's the same with the piano technicians. I'm a lousy player, a lousy technician, so sorry. I just listen and enjoy it. When we started with this idea, my idea was to have a room where we can show all the variety of manufacturing within Europe. So there are a lot of smaller ones, like Mane with a swung piano, with a straight strung grand piano, Mane from Belgium. We have Estonia, who is not showing up in Europe, in America.
I actually work at a dealership that sells Estonia pianos, and I absolutely love them.
Tell him he should come.
I will.
He must come next time. He was missing. So, and we have Paolo from France with a special grant. We have the keyboard from Denmark with a very tiny piano. And I wanted to have all this to show, because the benchmark for this was very high, because Europiano was not very happy with our idea to have it together with a trade show.
I see.
And I said, okay, then we show you that it's worth to have it with a trade show, with a business. And that was the idea of the room. And then we had a lot of the small ones, and then also the big one, the brand names came. And then it appeared out that they all wanted to show a concert grand. We show the room, oh, it's a tiny room. We get 13, we get in it. And I was accounting, okay, that's all European. We also invited Yamaha. They wanted to come, but Japanese are very
formal.
Very formal. So,
yes.
so oh, it's only European manufacturers. No, so we don't want to come. So sorry.
Oh.
But next year, I hope they are with us.
Yeah.
So this was our plan. And then we had a meeting with the planning team, and there was also the Conservatory of Nuremberg involved. And then out of a sudden, the director said, oh, let's our students make an arrangement for a special evening. And we said, oh, what? Yeah. So at the time we had maybe 8, 9 grants, but they was, no, we want 13. We are doing right now an arrangement for the Bolero on 13 instrument. We need 13. So we had a higher benchmark. We need to get all those grants. And that time also the conservatory, so didn't know the acoustical situation in that fair building. It's a big gallery over 3 floors, so very noisy, very loud.
Yeah.
But finally we made it. It was great. So it was not the big concert for the sound. It was really a performance. And when they do the first run before the real concert, it was the day before, I had some tears because it was so impressive. But everybody comes and, hey, Andreas, I need this. Hey, Andreas, I need this. So they stopped me from getting sentimental. So it was a great experience.
Yeah. Well, I think about the logistical difficulties of getting that many pianos from that many brands into one room. That sounds like...
Yeah, it was really great because the room was beside this round amphitheater. So I have to thank my board of the BDK. They all put their sleeves up and pushed the grants out to an improvised stage, and then the concert ran, and after that they had to bring it all back for the next day for the show.
Golly.
Also, when we set up the hall, the elevators of the fair broke down.
No.
So the grants were all up, but the McNulty, he does fortepiano, so an old player from the 17th century, they brought up with the elevators. So it was really... So there were a lot of enthusiasm at that fair. It was great.
Well, in that room of pianos, did you have a particularly favorite piano with a sound that you really enjoyed or really spoke to you?
Oh, I must be the Switzerland of piano technician, right?
That's fair. I knew you would say that. Okay, well, what do we have to look forward to at the next Euro Piano Convention in Valencia? Is there anything that you're particularly excited about?
Yes, about Valencia, about Spain. So the Spanish people never sleep. They get up and start to work when the Germans stop working. So, and I think that's the amazing thing on the Europiano. So we have 15 different countries. We have 14 different languages. Mm-hmm. And every congress is different and unique.
I have not been to Valencia. I've been to Barcelona, and actually that was it. It was just Barcelona. But Barcelona felt like enough. It's such a gorgeous, vivacious city. I absolutely loved it. Yeah. Now, will we get the grand piano room?
In Valencia? Don't know. I think this will be tricky, as this is always a tricky thing. And this I try to convince everybody that Europiano itself is too small for the manufacturers to do all these efforts to bring their instruments all to a Europiano Congress. So
I see.
This room we plan for next year in Nuremberg again, because we need also the organization of a fair. They are professional in doing it. We need the rooms, everything. And we need also the trade and customers who play the piano. So I think people in US, they are thinking the same way. You also want to attract also piano technicians and teachers. And this we want to do next year at the show in Nuremberg, that we want to get more educational people, more teaching. what you can do with the piano, what you can improve with play weight, with different styles of scaling and such things. So it's a mixture for technicians and for users.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so we plan to have the room with the concert grants if the manufacturers will support us. And besides this, we will have another room with all those technical upgraded pianos with a better play weight, with fancy sound, or with everything more from the technical point of view.
That's so exciting. Now, I believe that Jan's booth at the most recent PTG convention in Reno was the first time that the company exhibited in America in over a decade. Can you tell us about your experience there? Any specific highlights or insights?
Not a decade, it's I think 20 years ago. So
holy moly.
Yeah, as a highlight for me, it was very warm and friendly welcome. The people, even the exhibitors and the piano technicians were very open, and that there is a good exchange of each other. Also, there are a lot of young technicians. I saw maybe the reasons I'm now old now, and when I was the first time I was also young, I didn't realize. So for me, it was really worth to go. I learned a lot from the ideas from the US. So as I come from Europe and especially Germany, we are very traditional in our doing and way of working. So as you saw, the sound of a Schimmel, of a Förster, it's very unique. It's a warm sound. It's old craftsmanship and everything. But with all this, we are sometimes a little bit too conservative, too much looking in our own pot of soup. So sometimes we have to look a little bit outside.
Absolutely.
And I came the first time to America, I was amazed about it's a different way of thinking. So it was just put up your sleeve and then go and work, and I do it. And it was really fantastic thing. So I learned that Fujian tuning lever with Steve Fujian. I love our handcrafted tuning lever. It's one of my favorite tools, but this one it's really good technology, and we had a good cooperation with him for the past years, and we have brought it to Europe. And now I'm thinking a long time, I'm thinking to make the next step for a tuning lever. And this encouraged me when I came to the PTG. There are at least 3-4 tuning lever makers, and they're all brilliant. They're so nice. So it was for me, not only for selling, it was also just to looking and getting inspired from it.
Yeah, the tool selection at the conventions is always going to be a highlight. Now, this made me think of several questions. I saw that you had tungsteel weights for sale on your website. Yeah. And I heard that there was a booth for those at the most recent convention. Did that come about as a result of the convention, or?
No, Tony is like me. He's everywhere.
Okay, gotcha.
We have the awareness of the lead. It's also the same, though. The manufacturers say, they don't want to hear about it. Oh, it's okay, still with lead. But I understand this. This is a way of the economical reason. Lead is practical, it's good, and if you wear gloves and everything, it's not killing you. So it's not as bad as if you weld it like in an organ, in a pipe organ. They have really problems with lead.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So here in Europe, all this is because of if you use it hot, then the gas getting in the blood and may be dangerous.
Right.
And it came up that the piano company in Germany, they invented some from brass. And it's very clever and very expensive.
I believe Steingräber started using it in their own pianos. I spoke to Fanny about that, yeah.
Yeah, that maybe, yeah. And of course, we cooperate with them. We try to support them, and we offer it already. And it's very clean, very, very nice from design, everything. It's really German. Yeah, and then I get to know Tony. It was in the convention 2 years ago in Warsaw. There he showed up with a guillotine, and he's from, a very good guillotine. So he's a French, and he lives, so maybe that's he lives in Australia. And there he started, I think it was also that time, he started, I have something lead-free. And now he came up with the tung steel.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
sent me some samples ahead. And now I met him in Reno.
Bless you, German technicians, for leading that charge, because it has always been my pet peeve that there is so much lead involved in piano technology. It seems so strange to me. So, where do you see the industry going with changes like reduced demand in China? How will that policy shift affect manufacturing, such as German companies like Schimmel being owned by Pearl River? Does it affect the tools industry? And if so, how?
That's a very sad chapter of this interview, I think. It affects not the tool industry that I can explain later on, but the piano industry itself. We are now in a dramatical time. So in a very bad time with the change of China. Yeah, it's the last 10, 20 year, all the industry was focused on the market to China. It was 70% of the production. And also within China, they built more than 200,000 instruments, and they were not for Europe or America, they were for China. And this is a big problem we have now, we are facing now. It all was a bubble. It was a big bubble as the Chinese government supported this. And like those regimes are, so now we are again in politics.
Right.
They switch the button, and then one day to the next, it's the world is a different one. And for the manufacturers in China, it's a disaster. And with this, it goes down to us in Europe. We were very good exporting to China. With Schimmel, there are two other companies. They are owned by Asian companies. One is even not paying salaries right now, so they are dropped like a hot potato because the Chinese have so many problems within their countries. They don't care for those factories in Europe,
Oy.
and they are left alone. So that's again why my aim is to get everybody more together. So we have to support our industry with their brilliant and high quality instruments that they survive this very hard times, because if they go, we will lose our sources for supplying things, we lose the education, all those skills, and with this the whole culture will fade away. And yes, therefore it's very important that we try as best as we can to keep this level and get those enthusiasm we can see among the piano technicians for the instrument, for rebuilding, and to bring this
Right.
also to the music teachers and to the players,
Yeah.
that they play the acoustic instrument. So, and
Yeah.
the acoustic instrument for us, now comes to the tools, for us, this change in China is right now, it's not so important because the tools, the materials, also things we are trading is for the pianos in 10, 20 years when you have to repair them.
I see.
And that was the thing, the piano is lasting very long. So the numbers of production is going down, down, down all the years since I'm in business. But the numbers of pianos and pianos being played is increasing. So this is a positive side of the coin.
Right.
That the number is increasing as every piano that is produced right now will make people happy for the next 50, 100 years. So
Right. But I feel like some technicians will frequently push a client to pay a lot of money to have their piano rebuilt into something that won't end up functioning that well, when they could be spending that money on a new piano that will last longer, function better, and support the industry as a whole, especially now. Would you agree with that sentiment?
yeah, we call it the honesty of craftsmanship and the honesty of salesmanship that must fit together. And there are a lot of pianos from the economical point of view, it's not worth to invest so much money in a repairman. And it would be good if piano technicians would be trained in this more, because we have a product, we have no better customer connection than every other product. So a piano technician is once, twice a year at the customer's house. And if he realizes, he loves his piano or the playing, and he should upgrade in a better piano, in a new piano. And Yeah, I think this must help the industry, and we think digital instrument is not bad. It's also good for us. Set for beginners, they are not sure if they stay on the instrument, or the kids stay with the instrument.
Yeah.
The challenge is to realize the right point to change, and there we again need the piano teachers that they are involved in this circle, said when he realized, oh, this kid is talented, he loves to play, so now he must get rid of that emotionalist, dead
Yes.
digital thing that needs a real heart-filling acoustical instrument.
Yes. Yeah.
That we need more and more.
Yes, 100%. And you know, we actually have a lot of articles on ProPTN and Piano Buyer about how to have those conversations with clients. They're really
We must
useful.
exchange. You must send it to us. So I
Yeah.
think there we are still a little far behind. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and when I'm talking to clients, honestly, the biggest go-to statement that I use is one of Hannah's, since she was my mentor. It is telling clients that having a child learn to play an instrument on an instrument that doesn't properly support them is the equivalent of trying to learn to play soccer with a deflated ball.
Oh, that's good. I'm always more on the level with the parents. I compare it with cars. So you don't want to ride an
Yes, yeah.
old crappy car. You like to have a
Yeah.
good Mercedes or a BMW.
Yeah.
GM.
Well, as far as the Jahn products go, I would love to know if you have any favorite new tools or new products that are on the Jahn product line.
Yeah, in my head a lot.
Actually, those would be good too. Any ideas or stuff that you've already come out
I
with?
think I talked about the tuning lever. So I met on the first acoustic fair, I met a string maker, and that was inflamed about a new idea for a tuning hammer. But with the organization and everything last year, it went a little bit in the back. So this I will catch up. And what we brought up new is the screwdriver set from PB Swiss Tools. It's a very high level Swiss tool making company. And they made us a special set for screwdrivers for piano technicians. And this is like the tuning lever I have on my desk for 3-4 years, a little tool from them. And I want to make this for a set for regulation, for grand regulation.
Yes.
But the challenge is that this company, they work for the Swiss railroad, for Swiss
I see.
skiing industry and so for the piano the demand is so tiny, so they we would like, but we have no time for you, sorry. But this is a challenge for me to bring up this regulation set within the next 2-3 years, I think.
I would really like to see those because right when you said it, I thought I have been using the same screwdrivers forever and they're just worn in and crappy. And yeah, I could definitely use an upgrade.
This screwdriver set is available already. You can try it. I sent you the link to it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Then yeah, I'll have to look that up. And I can go ahead and link to that in the show notes as well. So anybody who wants to get their own set can check out the link for this episode. But to wrap us up, I feel like we've covered such a wonderful base of questions and answers. But to wrap us up, can you tell us about your favorite part of piano technology and your favorite tool?
Favorite part of piano technology? It's the people that work in the piano field. So that's my favorite part. And that's my weakest point. I love every tool. And maybe this is also a point why we are pretty good on the market, because I like every tool. I think, oh, that's great. We must have this. We must sell it to the piano technician. So it really, when I started, I was in my late 20s, and my friends asked me, pianos, they're old fashioned. What are you doing there? And I always say, yeah, you're right. I also wonder what to do. But since the time, if I go back to it, what a huge number of new tools we have. So I thought piano is 300 years old. You don't need another tool. So we got Japanese saws. We got some fancy rigs from the United States. We got from Switzerland, screwdrivers, so from everywhere, every corner, somebody, here, I brought a new tool. So, and
Yeah.
yeah, welcome.
Yeah. Well, could you tell us at which conventions and classes we may be able to find you and your fabulous tool collections in the near future?
We have a PTDIA 5 days class. This is the nearest one.
And could you tell us what that acronym stands for?
Precision Touch Design Academy Europe.
Ooh, okay. And it's a 5-day course hosted in the new workshop space.
Yeah, it's a 5 days course.
Ooh.
And another point is the Peter event. We are going to be there. So this is my advertising for the Acoustica. It's in April.
Okay.
2025 in April will be Acoustica with 13 grants in one room, plus X in another room.
Ooh.
And you can have us steadily just register at our website, and then you can browse through our tools, and you're always free to email me, or if it's getting too complicated and too technical, I have my joker, it's Joachim, so he can help you everywhere with every problem.
Wonderful.
We are stand here for you. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Andreas. You have been a wonderful guest, and I look forward to seeing you at the next convention.
Yeah, hope we meet soon.
Well, you heard the man. If you want to browse Jan's dazzling selection of parts, tools, and supplies, or if you want to register for the PTDAE, you can visit pianoteile.com. That's Pianoteile, German for piano parts. You can also check out the links in the episode show notes for more on the upcoming conventions and class registrations. Until then, auf Wiedersehen, listeners.